do now have some more things to share with you. What we would like is, we would like everyone, before they leave, if they can, because I know some people are around this week in the Dark Holiday Club and might want to go home and think about it. But over this week, or today if you can, we'd like you to just write what Dave means to you on, I know it's really hard, isn't it? There's a piece of paper and pens by the door and a silver table over there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to compile them all into a little book, like a memory book, and give them to Dave. Now that could be Dave, it could be Dave in June, but just so that he can sit, maybe on days where, you have those days where you think, and you can open up the book and think, do you know what? This is important. This is the impact that it is history. So that's what I would like to do. I also want to give Dave this sash to wear. In gold, I'm retired. There you go, Zia. There you go, Zia. There you go, Stu's gonna present you with it. And what we're going to do now is we're going to welcome a few people from church to say a few words about Dave. And the first person I'd like to welcome is Mavis. Hi everybody. It hasn't up to now. What it is, I asked Sam and Beth to say a few words about Dave, because believe it or not, we've known him for 51 years. Wow. No, not that old, come on. We've known Dave and June for 51 years. Best buddies for all that time. So I thought, when they said I could speak, I thought, okay, I'm going to start. So I thought, well, this Julie Andrews song just started at the very beginning. So I thought that's where I would start. So, I'm reading it up here for the I've got the first one Dave and June in 1972. I went out to the Baptist Tabernacle for both together. Dave and June had a 6-month-old son called John, and we also had a 3-month-old baby called Mom. And this is what Dave looked like on the first night. So we became friends going along to the church of Brooklyn. Dave worked on the pit as an electrician. After a while, the pit workers went on strike. And Dave had a hard time doing little jobs here and there just to make sure they had food to eat. The strike went on forever. We thought it would never end. We thought the strike would never end. After this, Dave decided to start his own one-man electrical business called Student Electrics. And the business went well because people knew they could trust Dave to do a good job. But I remember one job he had, he needed an apprentice, Brian. And he asked Brian to help him rewire a bungalow. All went well until at the end of the job, Brian accidentally put his foot through the ceiling. But through the phone, Dave managed to sort things out. After a while, Dave decided to go to sea. And as he said many times from the front, he tried to turn his back on God. But the Lord had other plans for him. One morning in 1980, Dave and June came to our house. Dave looked really shaken, and I remember this day, he said, I've come to tell you June's pregnant. So great news at the time, and in 1980, on Boxing Day, baby Richard was born. That's baby Richard's Dave. The difference in Dave. In 1982, Dave asked Brian to come along to this church, which was then the Gospel Campus Union at the time, because he knew Brian would like to get a pastor. Speaker, which was Bob Scott, who was the first pastor at Baptist Tabernacle. So Dave knew Brian would like to come along. So to put a long story short, he started coming along to this church in 1983, where Dave had just taken over as captain of the Boys Brigade. There's Dave, as captain of the Boys Brigade with Dave and Rob. Things went fine for a while with Dave, Hope and Mick, Brian, Yvonne and Dave, the big officers in the brigade. After a while, Trevor decided he was too old to run as pastor and was no other candidate for the job. Dave, who was now chairman of the monthly committee meeting, decided to take care of the running of the church, but he was determined not to take the title of pastor. So he was affectionately given the title Pastor. But you know, God had other plans for him. Becoming pastor just happened because God gave Dave a love for this church that no one could challenge. He did all the jobs in the church. And I remember one Friday morning when we had hospitality and boat in the church, where Joyce Hogg, Brian and I was the homeless men meal. Dave was sitting in his boiler suit at the table, and one man asked me if I could speak to the pastor. And there was Dave sitting right next to him eating soup. The man thought he was the janitor. Going on to 1994, Dave decided to put an extension on the front of the church. We all thought he was crazy at first, but he had the vision to do this. And it brought the church closer together, and we did lots of fundraising to pay for it. We started off with £5,000 in the bank at the time. But you know, the men came in their boiler suits, the women came making tea, making meals, bringing meals so the men wouldn't leave the job. Brought the whole church together. I can remember one of the women wallpapered for a spare bedroom. And the money that I would have given her to pay for the bedroom had to go to the building fund. We started washing cars and put that to the building fund. June was to make between 20 and 30 cakes, and people were queuing up to buy the cakes. So it was, you know, it was just a great effort, everybody joining together. And at the end, when the extension was finished, we ended up with £5,000 in the bank still. So where am I now? Then jumping forward to 2014, oh no, Dave had another vision to build an extension on the back of the church this time. This time no one doubted this decision. Once again it all came together to what it is today. The builders wouldn't even do anything without asking Dave. They wouldn't lift a brick before that. Dave said, all right, do this. Dave said, all right, look at that. It was really, they were terrified of what So, but what brings us today? Dave tried to retire in 2019, but with COVID and Sam's illness, it's taken to today to happen. But Dave believes the church will be in good hands with Sam and Beth. Living waters will always be in Dave's heart, but Sam, in his kindness, Sam, as we've seen in Dave's life, God works in mysterious ways. I never thought in 1972 that we would have been through so much together, but God knew what he was doing, and chose Dave to be captain of the ship. Now I'm going to end here, Sam. I would like to end with some advice to Sam. Take a leaf out of Dave's book and be a great delegator. If someone came to Dave with a good idea, you would listen to them, say, oh, that sounds good, but you organise it, and it'll give you less headaches. Lastly, on a personal note, speaking for Brian and me here, I would like to say it's been an honour to be your friends all these years, but more important to have been two of your sheep. You've been a great shepherd, and we'd just like to thank you for all your advice and care that you've given me. Thank you.
Dave, would you like to come now
go back for people who don't know.
Yeah, I think Harry's couple of here. I want to start with this now. Just one second. This is all I could find to write about the good things. And this is what I found about it sounds sort of typical. I'm not going to be as good as what David is just going. Going through it. This is just putting the church together. This is just putting the church together. Dave's taking a photo of any other people, is that right?
I think so.
Well, Ian sitting here as Dave's brother, if you don't know, he helped do quite a bit of the joinery work next door. Next door. So he was working with Dave very closely to make sure that everything was done spot on next door. So that's just on the stage next door, we're sitting there. He got this done. So we're there, painting, decorating, whatever we had to do. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, yeah. I've put here, in the beginning, there was Dave Schofield and the Bible. That's where my friendship with Dave Schofield come in. And that was 1983. I didn't know of Dave because of Brian and Dave, but I'd never been a friend or anything like that. And now I'm upset with Brian for introducing us. No, it changed my life. And once it came, everything Dave saw something in me, and he pushed me until I took over. So Sam, I know how you feel, mate. It's always his way of getting out. I've realised that now. So yeah, so that was probably about 83, 84, something like that, wasn't it? That was a winning band. But next time, move on to the next one. And then we did many camps together and had lots of fun. This would be Melton Mowbray, Leicester. And I think, is Harry's famous, June, is that the famous jumper, that one? Is Harry's new jumper?
Oh, yes.
That's his new jumper, that's all. We'll just leave it there now. We'll just leave it there. The next one down, Sam. I've just got here 3 movies men. I don't know why. We look so grim for it. I think it was because I had to get washed in cold water, I think. Never mind. The next one, Sam, please. This one's not a very good photo. But, Charlotte's uncle's up on the top there, Rob. I don't know if you can see him sliding down. He had to climb on Dave's van. I don't know if you can see the ladder climbing up the tree. And he had to monkey up the tree and then come flying down the zip wire. There was a river at the bottom, which honestly you wouldn't put nothing in it. We were swimming in it. And also used to do the Intercity 125 escape. You should go under the bridge and this 125 train would go, and everybody would have to jump to go in the water. Let's go, moving on. This is the lovely river, as you can see it now. Then there are all the cows at the back there, and they would do whatever they wanted to do in this river, and we would be swimming in that river. And Dave's famous jumper was he was pushing all the kids in, so we got a hold of him. And we were going like this, pretending we were going to throw him in. And June said, "Watch his jumper!" And we let go of him, man. We let go of him and he just went straight in. So, yeah, but we had lots of fun. And another thing I remember is, you're going to see the inspection where Dave's walking past, but some days we wouldn't have to do the inspection. He says, "Howie," he says, "we'll fill this," I think we'll fill it full of sweets. Me and him had my shorts on, and off we'll go through, they're all getting inspected, the kids are standing in the sun and everything. And we've got this dinghy, which goes on the river, we start going up and down, eating my sweets, and then we sent a torpedo in, didn't we? And somebody come and just jumped on it and tipped, whoosh, sweets, didn't we? Mark Race, that's right, yeah. And the next one, number 5. This is David says, I think he's got a caravan at this stage, is that right? I think that's the red van, he had a caravan. But Dave was really handy at converting vans into motorhomes. I think he's using this one for his business, so he didn't convert this one, he bought a caravan instead, I think. So, you know, when he said he went to camp and roughed it, don't believe it. We roughed it. I'm the neighbours, we roughed it, we know it. Live in his caravan. Never mind. Move on. That's the camp inspection one. That's Dave going past there, putting out all the kids. And it was a good discipline thing, and I think it was a good thing to do. We made sure that they had all their clothes and their equipment and everything together. So that was very good. Moving on, Sam. Well, this is Dave and Brian relaxing, of course, as you can see. This is what we did at camp. We had lots of fun, played silly games. And also, you can imagine living on a field where we haven't got a lot of water. We did have a bowser there, but there wasn't much water really, so really you couldn't have a bath and nothing for a week, you know, you need a shower. And I had some very good friends down there who invited the ladies, not the men, man, the ladies. The ladies must have stuck more than us. Because they were invited to a camper where they could have a shower, a hot bath, and perfumed and everything. So we got everything done. Is that right, June?
I never went.
Oh, that's right. We had our own shower. That's right. I thought it was a three of them. And then Dave decided that we'd organise a treasure hunt. Well, I've never been able to run. Yvonne's never been able to run. I don't know about me. Brian might have been a bit of a runner. But we weren't runners. But he made us in charge of a team, didn't he? So we had to run all the way into the village, all the way back, all the way to the village, and all the way back. Well, you could have burned toast off on my face, and my cheeks were that red. And the last thing on my paper was, you must jump in the stream. Everyone said, I'm not jumping in the stream, I'm not jumping in the stream. When we got there, you were so hot and on fire, you wanted to be in the stream. The steam went shh. So he was never forgiven for that. Number 8. Is that number 8? Yeah. This is Gabe. Always giving me a hard time. Right? Wherever we went, I was at the butt of it. And we went to India, and we were given this room, and it was huge. This room was huge. It wasn't a bed really, but it was something that put your bum on it there. And but also there was thousands of mozzies around. So the pastor went out and got an electric thing to kill the possibly with the mozzies. He would just go out and he could hear. So this night I'm starting to strip off to go to bed. What does he do? Come at me with a back. They didn't have a shower as such. What he did, they had this little place where they would just like, come and run it here, no door on. And there was a bucket, that was a shower. And I took my fan, I always take my fan wherever I was, so I was cleaning myself down with the fan. And the next thing, my friend came, cold bucket of water. You know, out there it was 25, 28 degrees, so it was red hot. Whoosh! I've got lots to thank them for. Where more? Oh, number 8, that's it. Number 8, that's the one. Can I think of any more times you give me? I can think of those. Also, never go swimming. I don't know about now with them having a bad name, but never go swimming because you're like a torpedo. You're just standing there for a minute and the next minute you're out of the water. He just comes like a silent torpedo. He takes you down. Right, on to the next one, Sam. What's that one? Oh, there he is, the clown. He always comes on it. We always get a good laugh for them. Good laughs. Always have good laughs. Move on. Just photos I could find. You've heard lots about it, but this is how camps were organised, brigade sessions were sorted out, church was sorted out, and wherever else needed to be sorted out. This is how we do it. But it all started through June, when we first met here in June. We started going around to June's because she had Richard very small. So she would invite us, and she would be feeding you all the time. Every time you were there, she'd give you something to feed. And then we had to build a camp. Well, yeah, Dad built the cookhouse, and we built the benches. We put the benches together and as a team together. It really worked. That's how we got most of the stuff done. We didn't have a committee and all that. That was it. That's how we would sort things out. Next one. Well, it's been said already. There's June, you know, she's been Dave's rock really. I don't think he could have done half of what he's done without you, June.
I think so. Yeah.
Everything that's been said about June, not true. I mean, it is true. Yeah. She does look after you. You do get a card, presents. She spoils you. She'll feed you every time you go around. Eat this. Or else I. Never mind. My next one. I was going to finish with that one, but I'm not going to finish with that one now, I don't think. But just that we've been friends since 1983, and I really appreciate your friendship. I appreciate everything you've done for us, because I've got a list of things that I could tell you, but the one thing that sticks in your head is 2002. Me and Yvonne decided to change direction. We didn't know which direction we were going in. Yvonne was coming out of fostering, and I was putting the haulage business in. We didn't know what we were going to do after that. And Dave says, just pray about it. Pray about it. The bright jobs will come. And what happened? Yvonne got a part-time job, supposed to be at Marks and Sparks', and she was supposed to be Christmas staff, and then Yvonne got a full-time job. Just kept her on full-time. Myself, some friends of ours who used to come to this church offered me a job working for Positive People. It was the best job I could have had. I was on holiday for 5 years doing canoeing, kayaking, all the things I did with the Boys Brigade, so I loved every minute of it. And then it went on to greater things. Went into office work and stuff like that, so just pray. Fun. With work with Alan, that's it back there. Yes, Alan. It just goes on to greater things. And Dave sat me down and we prayed about lots of different things, family situations, everything. You know, things have come true, come right. And, you know, we should always put God first. It's already been said. Right, I don't know where I'm now. All right, friends. And I was going to just say, I just hope this friendship remains to the bitter end, mate. It's been a privilege to get up here and say all this, because normally when you do these sort of things, it's at funerals, isn't it? It's just what he would say. I've learned it. Everything you see me do is just because I've learned of him. Okay, honestly, come up here, mate. Like everybody said, I love him. You didn't like that, eh? That's great. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thanks, Steve. Harry, would you like to say something? It's Harry's turn now. Let's give Harry a clap.
Please do know I have not got a script. I've not got any photographs. I've some wonderful stories. I've been thinking all week about what adjective I could use to describe the great man. And I've come up with this word, inspirational. Inspiration. Inspirational in my faith, inspirational in my life, and to a certain extent, inspirational in my family who are not Christians, but they know about Dave Schofield. So I've got some little stories from way back when we first started, and we were in the little office on the far side, tiny little place, and we had to change our bank account. And the bank had given us a password to put in. And we're sitting there, and after about the 9th attempt, nothing's happened. So I'm steaming, pull out here, I turned around, David's behind me, he's looking as calm as anything, and I'm thinking, I'm going to ring the bank up now and give them a piece of my mind and tell them that we can't get in. And I looked round and I said, what are we going to do now? And he says, we're going to pray. And we prayed. Well, that's all right. Dave prayed. I just sat in the front of him and echoed everything he said. And we had a short prayer. And I said, what are we going to do now? He said, oh, we'll try again. So we did it, put it in, and ping, it went straight through. Absolutely unbelievable, but God had sorted out something that we'd struggled to sort out for at least an hour and a bit. And that was an instance there. And then we progressed to me being on the leadership team. And one of my things that I thought church people should do and should have is have fun. I know they have to worship God and praise and have the services, but the main thing that I thought we should do was have some fun within the fellowship. And I remember the first thing I started to do was I didn't attempt, I was going to do a cricket match. So I went to Dave and I said, I'm going to have a cricket match with all the people in the church. And he looked at me and he said, don't be stupid. You'll not even get it together. Inspiration. That was his inspiration for me. If he's telling me I can't do it, I'm going to do it. So it was the time when Ananda was here. Ananda was a great missionary friend from Sri Lanka, and he was a cricket fanatic. And I went to him and I said, look, we're going to have this cricket match. We're going to have 7 aside. We're going to do it properly with umpires, pads. The only thing they wouldn't let me do was use a hard ball. So we settled for an intermediate ball, which was between a tennis ball and a proper cricket ball, but it was hard anyway. And this was Barby Wednesday night, we all trooped up to the West Park with all the cricket equipment, and we had umpires and 7 aside, and it was absolutely fantastic. But Dave, as David said, had to do something, right? And we're in the middle of the game, and he took the bails off the wickets. And he said, he complained to the umpire by saying the batsman had hit his wicket, he must be out. Of course, the batsman was astounded and said, no, I didn't do that, but he had a go. And we had a great evening, and great evening of fellowship and fun. Anybody who enjoys cricket will know what it's about. And it was a great competitive game, and a fun was had by everybody. And my final story is I went to him again. We had a men's thing just started, and I said to him, look, I said, these men need fun. And I said to him, we're going to take them to the golf driving range. You'll never do that. You'll not even think about hitting a golf ball. Inspiration, I thought. He said that to me once before, I'm going to do it. So we got all these men together and said, we're going to go and hit some golf balls at the driving range, which was just up towards Sunderland. And the idea was we hit the golf balls, and then we could have a lovely meal afterwards, and a drink for those that wanted a drink or a soft drink. And it was absolutely amazing. Everybody who went actually had to go and hit the golf balls. Some had about 14 attempts and the ball was still there. Trying to hit it, and some were quite good at it. But another fun evening that we had for Christians and the fellowship, having fun within the church. And then after that, great things happened with this building. I don't want to bore you about that, but Dave was the whole thing behind this building. We started with some extravagant plans of the building. He came in one night and said, look, forget about that. We're never going to achieve that. We'll go down this route, what we can afford. And I've told the story about Pastor Emmanuel coming along in the middle of all the building going on here, and I'll tell it again. He walked into the church, and it was the first time we'd seen him. And obviously he was in the UK to look for some money for some financial help for the tsunami which had made all kids orphanage in India, and he was setting up this orphanage. And it was right at the time where we were counting pennies and every bit of money was needed for this building. And I think the leadership got together and we could have quite easily said, well, we need all the money for this building. And but anyway, the leadership team got together and said, I think we should give him some money. I think we ended up giving him £5,000. And that was all we could afford at the time. But about 2 or 3 months down the line, we were gifted a cheque for £80,000 towards this building. Now, when I tell people this story and I say to them, this is a God thing, they look at me as if I'm got a bit doing it there. But that's how God works when you serve Him. And we could have quite easily said, no, we're not going to give this pastor anything, and it would have been fair dues. But we gave him the £5,000, and God turned it into £80,000, and then we turned it into £100,000 with the gift aid, which all went towards this building. And Dave was really the drive behind this building, and he's just a great man. You know, you hear these stories of people in the country, and they've got all sorts of letters after the name, DFO, all these names, all these people that's done everything. When I say Dave Schofield, he has not got any letters behind his name, but he has got the words, man of God.
Yes.
He has got the words, Dave Schofield, man of God. And he's been a tremendous guy in my life and Pat's life, and I just love him to bits. And I know you're not going anywhere, boy, because you're going to be here. So thanks for all that help in my life, and thanks for all your help in the church. Thanks, Steve.
See, you can't go wrong with people like this. Can you? So it ain't me, it's all the people around them. People always say, you hear people say, well, it's not me, but it's true. It's the people around us. And there's more. There's a lot more. And my prayer is that the same people, not the same personal people, same people, same type of people, get around Sam and Beth, and then they kind of feel. And that's all they're going to do. But I do appreciate it. And I'm saying, I love you all. And it's how he says, I'm saying, I'm not going anywhere. We're just here. This church will have the best old folks home ever.
We'd love today. Thank you so much for coming. We're gonna. I know for a fact. I never thought you'd get rid of most of the cakes actually, but most of them have gone. I do happen to know that there's some more donuts in there, so I'm going to get those out. We're going to refresh all the drinks. Listen, I would love it if you could write something about Dave. All the pens and paper is on there, and then pass it to me or leave it on that table, because I think that I want this to be a day for Dave to look back on and just remember forever. Yeah. Dave will love you. You know, the man, the myth, the legend. And what a difference a Dave makes.